I am here doing a live, and I've actually not done a live on this page yet, but I wanted to share a reading, a message, especially with this moon in Virgo today. And this message is for you beautiful souls who are on this, journey of connecting to your higher self, connecting to your soul's truth, your gifts, and bringing that out into fruition, into your reality, into your life. And first of all, I want to say that, your soul came up with a dream, and that dream is your life. And as that reminder stands, today's spread, we actually have a 5-card spread, and just taking it slowly overhead of my selenite crystal. We'll just go through really the impacts, or you could say the levels of growth for a rose. And then, you can kind of discern like where you are and then take those practical steps forward. So right now I get the energy of like, okay, Virgo moon, it's like ruled by the planet of Mercury. It's like a very structured, like, it can get in the head a lot, in the space especially. So as a earth energy, like, okay, I want to do and take some sort of form of action, but maybe I feel a little stuck, right? Maybe I feel like something's missing. And so really this is a reminder to come back to your heart, because the truth's wisdom, is you'll hear those whispers in your heart space. You won't hear them when you're in your head and an ego. And so going with that, the first card that we actually have is at the very top. Ooh. And so I'll just go ahead and bring that up. So we have the sun. We have the joy, enjoyment, life force, success, vitality, play. And what you can see here with this depiction, as I keep this card up, it's a golden rose. It's symbolic of the sun, right? I get the first picture is like the solar plexus, bright and healthy. The rose is blossoming, and all around it, you can see the vibration of the life force of the energy within you. This is exactly the symbol of the first card relates to the rose. What is currently blooming? What is a possible future outcome of your situation? And so we have joy, enjoyment, life force, success, vitality, and play. And what's currently blooming is, we're getting guidance. This is the leading energy of the reading to come into our state of play. You can see the women here are dancing. They're out in the field. They're enjoying themselves. They are feeling free and expansive in their movements, right? And with where you're going and whatever it is that you're thinking about, emphasis on thinking, been working on, the key is to play. You have success coming to you. It is given, like it's already been woven into the tapestry of the circle of life, or you can say the threads of life that's already been established. So it's inevitable, right? So if you already know that your success is a given, right? If you can see it, it's in some form of reality already there, right? Now it's just a matter of you going through the journey. And with that, the sun, the sun symbolizes vitality. It is, to the rose, just as you, it is the nourishment that the rose receives. At its highest peak, it represents your life force energy. So, how do I cultivate my energy and have this positive perspective, this, delight in my life and more of it and expand more on it? Is just to allow myself to come into those moments where I can actually feel like I'm drinking up the small moments of life, right? Enjoy what is present for me, what's available to me, right? All that life has to offer. Enjoying the simple things. And to settle in the present moment, right? And as we're being encouraged to come into this state, more active moments and states of bliss and play. The sun also represents your inner child. So what is it that you can do that will cultivate, the awakening, the aliveness of what your inner child needs. So tapping into that. And the more you tap into this energy of like what feels joyful, what feels expansive for you, the more you are going to receive the solutions of the next step of what you need with clarity. And so that is where the outcome is. This is what is needed. And as we go forward, and actually just want to take a moment here to do something. There we go. Okay. We're going to go move on to the second card. So the second guidance is actually the next step. And this one is the lineage of the rose. And so as I put that card down and just thanking it for showing us where we are in the present moment, what's available for us, the lineage of the rose is moved by the goddess here for this soul call gathering. You can see the two women behind praying. All these lineages of our ancestors guiding us. This lake where people gather together to receive, right? To meditate the wisdom that's going forward. What is needed? What do I need to feel nourished, right? So the second card in the 5-card spread here represents the bud, or what's being full of promise here. What is the current moment? The current moment, or being the current mood, where we are being led by the goddess, by those before us. And this is a confirmation of where you are is exactly where your soul chose to be. To create spaces where, the work that you are doing, maybe you feel, especially when you feel heady and about the next steps and taking on that like action in the earth field, you feel a little bit doubt coming, right? This is a reminder that the work that you're doing, you have been doing, for yourself, within yourself, and for the collective, is exactly what it is. You're on the right path. Your soul chose to be here. You're creating spaces where people, get to feel cherished. They get to feel safe. They get to feel loved. And they feel safe in doing so to express themselves, right? That's what, the gathering means. That's what your work is doing here. Water symbolizes, a coming together. And what we are doing in our sacred work as a word of support for you and motivation is that, we are here, and what we are building in our perspective medicine that we give out is here to heal the destructive patterns of the patriarchy. So hence the feminine work that we're doing in this healing. She wants us to remember that, to keep trusting the whispers of your own path. Hence the praying, right? And let the whispers lead the way. Remember that the ways of the mystic are known to your heart and not to your mind. Try not to overthink. That is what the promise is. You will receive that first card, which is the, bliss, the abundance and everything. But don't let yourself, be swayed by the fears and the doubts that may be creeping up. I talk about this in my shadow work, shamanic soul journeys, reprogramming. That's always necessary. It's like every day we need to clear, we need to release what energy we've been picking up, whether that's thoughts and programs from other people or from, things that are being activated within us that we need to let go of, right? At a consistent daily, as a daily devotional practice. So that we can continue to go in that first card energy of allowing ourselves to tap into our solar plexus so we can move in that direction of action, because that's what the solar plexus does energetically. It's the energy in your belly that when I have that fire, building up, I will move with action, gun-ho, right? With absolute energy and clarity. And so this is what that second card is. The rose is like the promise of, what is to come for you, where you are in this current moment. And, to tune back into your whispers and trust the intuition, the intuitive nudges that you've been getting. Don't let the doubt, and just because the sways come up, the waves ride up, sway you. And as we move to our third card, the third card, I like this. As soon as I saw her, I was like, damn, okay, this gets a feeling of like refreshment. It's a picture of the background of a bright pink rose. She is, you can visualize she's, showering herself, right? She's feeling refreshed. She even has this big droplet coming onto her face, like her hair is all good, It's like that feeling of like you just took a shower and you feel cleansed, right? You feel refreshed. You feel alive again. And this is the morning dew. Clarity, a fresh start, a positive outlook. So what the third card represents here? The third card represents what you could say is the thorns, or what is the present obstacles. What is it that I need to be aware of, my current challenges, so that I can move through them, right? And so the morning dew, when you look at it symbolically, I think about immediately droplets. Water carries codes of wisdom, healing, shifts, power. So there's a powerful, fresh outlook and perspective and downloads coming for you and available for you on your current situation that you're experiencing or thinking about, or the thing that you feel stuck on. And that new perspective is available to you. And it begins to open up the more that you again come back to your intuition, you come back to yourself. So the guidance is here. So, okay, I know that this is possibly a possible obstacle for me. It is a challenge. And knowing that, okay, what can I do in terms of, again, we're talking about with the spread in particular, where we are, what are the steps that we need to take in practicality so we can continue forward towards our overall vision, is what is it that I can do in relation to ancient practices. And if you know me, I teach on the Priestess work, sacred embodiment and practices that we can do to really implement in this lifetime, in our day-to-day, and really make that practical. So one thing that came up, it's like, okay, when you work with water, whether you do a sacred healing bath, in particular, this one teaching came up that the morning dew in ancient practices and lineages have been seen as just as powerful as containing all the energy of a plant, vibrationally, right? Energetically. So think about this, doing the things, or even right now, shifting out from your current space, or in just at any given time throughout your day, or even the beginning of your day, of course. As if you're just coming out, waking up from the morning, stepping out of your house onto the fields of grass. And how can you allow yourself to receive the morning dew? Like whether that's a physical, like you take that as a physical practice, like say there's morning dew tomorrow, step out and ground yourself. Let your feet be soaked and lathered in the water. Feel that, the feeling, the sensation, the smell. Whether you allow yourself to drink from the petals of roses is another one, right? Because water gathers the information, the healing codes of what the flowers, the plants, it is the medium between cosmic energy and the earth, right? It's this ancient wisdom teachings that hold the power to shift our perspective, as well as powerful energy to heal. Clarity is on its way. There's a new start. Possible perspective shifts are coming. The future is positive and bright. So in order to keep focusing on your ideal outcome, trust is needed. And so you need to just come back to yourself. What is it that you can do? This is a physical action that you can work with in terms of water, that you can feel release, energetically refreshed, restart anew. In other words, when it comes to this here third card with the thorn and possible obstacles, is I allow myself to see things, differently than I did yesterday. I'm open to a perspective shift. Again, this goes back to card number 2 and number 1 with the bud and the rose. It's like the more expansive I feel, the more open I feel and light, the more the solution oriented I will become. And I'll be feeling less stuck, right? Less way down, less like the energy is not moving, right? Whether it's in the mind and the body. And then we go on to the fourth card for us on the spread. And this card, I immediately I was like, okay, what are the major things that are coming up? Well, symbolically, and it is a sacred union. And hi, Marivia. Hi. Ooh, I'm so glad you made it just in time for this reading. We are using a 5-card spread with the Rose Oracle. And we just pulled the fourth card, which is the Sacred Union. Yeah, it is. Let me show you the booklet. It is the Rose Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. And I love her. Like this, the Rose Spirit is very healing. And I wanted to share this message, especially for the souls who are here on a mission with a purpose, a vision, and especially being under this Virgo moon. It's like, are you feeling stuck? Are you feeling too much in your head? Are you feeling like you're not able to create and share forth? So this fourth card in the spread actually represents the seeds, right? Hey, beautiful Priestess. The seed that is being planted and what is needed to be nourished. I love it. So the guidance and support with this fourth card here, this seed, represents what you need to nourish. And so immediately, and let me show you guys, I was saying how the first thing I noticed on this card spread was the 3, the symbology of the 3. The 3 different types of roses. You have the white, the pink, you have the red. Not only that, if you can see, right there, her throat chakra is a ring. Tied to the ring, to each rose, is a gene. It's literally DNA codes. It's freaking gorgeous. What does that represent? Well, the sacred union is, you can think about the Son, the Father, the Holy Spirit. It is the Divine Mother. It is the Father. It is the womb, the child being birthed, right? You can think about the mind, body, spirit. It is your internal world within you, your external world, and the middle holding the 2 is a relationship. Ooh, elaborate a little bit for me, Maria, energy code. Curious. And here with the seed, I mentioned earlier, and when you guys, I encourage you to watch the replay. We had the second, the second card was regarding the seed and possibly what it is that you are needing to draw awareness to. Gene codes. Okay, 3-6. So I'm a 3-6 generator. And so in this card here, it was reminding us that the work that we're doing, it's exactly that. We're here to heal the patriarchal, right, forms of what you could say is the destructive patterns that we picked up. And so the feminine energy in the work we're doing is to bring out that, feminine essence, the healing. And so in every relationship, we have the divine masculine and the divine feminine within us. That is the sacred union. That is the seed that we need to continue to nurture. And with that, this is a reminder that, okay, if this is ultimately where I am coming to, right, and what is most needed, especially with, the expression of the fullness of myself, this is my root, this is where I need to come back into grounded action. And I'm actually presenting this card. This is the 5th card. I'm presenting before the 4th one. Why? Because it's going to show a little bit more in terms of what the sacred feminine within means, especially when you're healing the destructive patterns of the patriarchy, is that the feminine, the grounded action to come into yourself, into that living ceremony of your life, means that you awaken that part of you that allows you to tap into the sensuality, the relationship, that where those moments in your life, what can you do this weekend and what can you do today, especially under this Virgo moon, that you can allow yourself to have fun, you can allow yourself to play, where you can allow yourself to, let go of the guilty feelings, where we've been guilt tripped to fully express ourselves into our sensuality, fully express how we feel. Like, we've had this conditioning to feel guilty just for experiencing pleasure, feeling the full expression of who we are. And so really, like, how can you explore the depths of you where you are letting yourself feel into all levels of the sacred space within you, letting it come back together, where it's your inner self, again, the inner child, you can think of that, the mother, the father. And reminding yourself that coming back to yourself, which is the most sacred union relationship, like everything in life, whether it's, even during the moments where you feel like something's frustrating you, a current situation, say it's not ideal, you can think of it as everything that's meant to help you to grow, right? Because what we need is relationship. Experiences are relationships that help you to grow. It's like the inner world related to the outer world. Love is related to hurt. It's hard to have compassion if you don't know what separation is, right? All levels of duality exist here. That's what the sacred relationship is. Like, it all exists. All is perfect. All is real. And so if everything, you keep that in mind, and if you let that be your takeaway message, that everything is meant for me to come back to my sacred relationship within myself, right? And that sacred union. And I can continue to water that, right? Then you'll have that greatest love story unfold and lead you. Be your sacred motivation, your sacred fire that will lead you no matter what. Ooh, it's kind of like a marriage. That's what I'm getting. It's like when the partnership between whether it's a man, woman, woman, right? The marriage, between the two, it is still bounded, right? Regardless of what's going on, like, I'm willing to hold you and be with you and come back to me, right? So let everything be a sacred act that you do, and everything that you experience come back to you. So even if you're feeling stuck right now, if you're feeling uncertain of the next steps, like, let that be a key reminder of coming back to my sacred practices, where I really allow myself to, fall into the essences of all sacred parts of me, the 3 sacred union relationships. If it feels like there's a longing or a missing, this is just that key reminder to come back to your soul, the deeper back to your home within yourself. Embrace yourself, because the more you embrace yourself, the more you're able to embrace your situation, the more you're able to see things with a different perspective. And then why is that message necessary? To kind of like gather that everything that I experience, like let that really, and this is really what the fourth card was. And I had pulled it out too early, but I guess that's what she wanted to come through. The fourth card, like I mentioned, is what needs to be, nurtured on a consistent basis, especially with the duality levels of life that we experience, and the, working on healing the destructive patterns of the patriarchy. And the feminine way teaches us that if everything is meant to help bring me closer to the sacred relationship with myself, right? Then let it fully crack me open. And this is what the rapture means. Full of sensuality, love, devotion, romance, ecstasy, pleasure. Going back to, like I said, like where, the work that you're doing, and to keep going forward, it's like, okay, there are moments like when I'm feeling this contractedness, this uncertainty, this doubt coming up. Maybe I'm like starting to like hyperventilate. I don't know what to do. And like you're about to get heady. Stop. Fully let that situation crack you the fuck open. Crack your heart open. Because that thing is not meant to pull you down. That little challenge, you're here to recalibrate your nervous system back to pleasure, okay? And like the rose here, the spirit, she's being, cracked open. And here with this like romance, like how can you continue to romance yourself? Like to hold yourself, to embrace yourself, and to hold like any situation in your life and embrace other things, like, hey, the sacred union, so I'm always coming into myself, feeling whole and powerful. It's the moment where I allow myself to fall into ecstasy, being led into full pleasure. The patriarchal destructive patterns, make us feel guilty for expressing ourselves, for feeling that sense of full pleasure, right? So how can I have fun and just allow myself to unwind fully, right? Without the guilt and letting it go, because you're here to share and express yourself, to come out, and there's something that wants to be birthed, right? But when you feel the contractiveness, or when you're in your head, you're going back into this old, patterning that we are letting go. And it's a constant renewal process. So I maybe say to yourself, I'm opening my soul up to the expression of me receiving love in a way that feels good to me, that I know it's safe to. And it's just, there's a sacred teaching with the feminine where it's like, okay, sex, sensuality, pleasure, and erotica, right? The things that feel erotic, that turn me on, that light me up. I need to come into that constantly and nurturing, because that is the power of the feminine way to keep myself trusting in my intuition. And the more you allow yourself to crack open, heart open, the more you come into union to yourself. And now you're seeing with clarity, right? Now you're seeing how the gene codes within you are being activated. And that was the fifth card here as a reminder, where the fourth card was just what needs to be nurtured. And the fifth was the root with a practical practice. What can you do where all three, the sacred union within you, everything draws you back to you. Let that always be the solution, a reminder. So I hope you enjoyed that reading. And I just wanted to do a longer card spread today, just to give guidance as well. Ways that you can work with me. I do offer readings, whether that's a personal recording, where you can ask a question, and where that recording will be sent to you. You can always feel free to email or message me with any reflections that come back. With that reading, it's $45 for a reading, a question that you have. And then also, I also offer cosmic tune-ups, meaning we have an oracle spread question that you're working through, and then I offer crystal healing energy work for you, and that is $75. This is also done virtual, by the way. A lot of the work I do is virtual, as well as in person. So if you're local, you can just feel free to DM me or go to my website, divinecosmicjourney.com. Look at the offers there. And if you follow me on my divine.cosmic.empress page, that is actually where I do a lot of the ancient teachings, priestesshood workings, helping people to connect, souls to connect to their intuition. You know, the practices that we mentioned here with the water, working with plants and the flowers, roses in particular too. These are ancient teachings that we can implement in our lives so that we can continue to feel refreshed, nourished, strengthened, and source the energy within ourselves versus outside, and coming back to our divine authority and power. Again, my pre-sale for that actually ends tonight, which is 8/8/8, and early bird pricing will start and kick off, where our program ETHERICAL, which is a sacred container for you to come back to yourself, connect to your soul's gifts, and learn the energetic, ancient teaching ways of what a modern day priestess and modern mystic, oracle, medicine woman, does, so that she can be that anchor, agent of change in her reality without feeling overwhelmed or outsourced. That starts on June 21st on summer solstice. And thank you so much for tuning in, and Satnam.